Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the March 18, 2025 regular scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. I've asked Commissioner Hale to lead us in the prayer, and then Commissioner White's going to lead us in the pledge. If you would, please stand.
Bow your heads, please. Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come together to do the work of the county. Lord, I pray that we see this thing through the eyes of our community, Lord, and that you bless us and take care of us as we make our decisions. Lord, we pray for those that are in need, and you know who they are better than we do. There are folks out there, and it could be a great need or a small need, but you always answer the call of all, and we appreciate that, Lord. We thank you and we praise you. Forgive us our sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Our first item on the agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes, and we have the March 4th, 2025 regular scheduled board meeting minutes there. Any questions, comments, concerns on those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner White, a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0 on the approval of the minutes. Next item on the agenda is public concerns and comments. I do have one public comment card already filled out, and that would be from Mr. Steve Fontana from 21181 144th Street.
Yep, live oak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, well, you all pretty much know, but the 21st, starting this Friday, is the county fair. American Patriots will have a booth at the county fair this year, and stop by. We're going to have a Constitution quiz. We're going to have some information on some of the things you may be not aware from going on with the state legislature. Some of the things, and even we're going to try and make people more aware of what's going on here as well in the schools and in the city, from the city council, things like that. And just stop by, maybe say a prayer for us, for the country and for our county, because if you're not praying for this country, then you're not a patriot.
Amen.
I agree with you on that. I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Fontana. We have another one by Mrs. Kaylin Hofmeister. Did I say that correctly? Oh, your name's not at the bottom. Miss Pruitt.
Miss Pruitt, I didn't put my name on there.
Okay, I'll put it on there for you. Welcome. Name and address for the record, Mrs. Pruitt.
My name is Cheryl Pruitt, 125 2nd Street Northwest, Lava, Florida. And I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about Caitlin Hofmeister. She's our rep. I don't know if you know VA rep, and I'll tell you what, she's pretty great. I have a tendency to go around and try to introduce myself to some of these people, know what they're doing. And so I know Lee really helped my husband get on, disability, VA disability, 100%. I said, well, praise the Lord, and he really went all out. Well, then I had to wind up getting on VA Champ, which, and I like to never got on it, and I went to her, and she just really, her door's open. Most of the time I don't have to knock. I just walk in. I say, Caitlin, I did this, that. And she can send things in that I can't send in. But praise the Lord, I've got, at this point now I'm on VA Champ, which they pay for my medicine and everything. I just really think we're moving on up. But just remember, Caitlin, and two, go by and talk to her and find out, because you never know. You may not need her, but somebody that you know may need her, and they really work for us. But she's a blessing to our community.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming, Miss Pruitt, and I'm glad to know that Miss Caitlin has helped you out, and I'm sure she's helped others. An asset to the community.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pruitt.
Mr. Chairman, that's not a problem. We probably need to invite her to come in and introduce herself.
We'll let Mr. Scott do that.
There you go.
Invite Miss Caitlin in and introduce herself to the board. Mr. Broders, would you like to speak, sir?
I would.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Name and address for the record when you get there, please.
Actually, I live at 970 Southwest Pine Mountain Road in Lake City. The thing I'd like to talk a little bit about today is the 17th Amendment. And the problem that we have today, I believe, is that there's too darn much money in politics, and the people who have the money call the shots, and the majority of the people pay the price. In the case of the election for senator in the state of Florida, $150 million was spent by the financial elite to elect a senator to represent the people. We don't have a bicameral legislature in the United States anymore. We have a unicameral legislature with 2 houses that represent the people and the financial interests of the majority. And frankly, the Article 5 of the Constitution basically says that no state shall lose its suffrage in the Senate without their consent. Florida has never ratified the 17th Amendment. We should not be allowing the public to vote for the senators. The senators should be chosen, I frankly believe, by the county commissioners of the 67 counties in Florida. Let those 67 counties and their 5 commissioners in each county, let them vote for and on behalf of the people. Most people are so ignorant that they wouldn't know the difference between a good candidate and a bad candidate. So I believe that we need to, since we have never given our consent to go along with the 17th Amendment, I believe that we have every right, according to Article 5, to continue to have our senators chosen by the legislatures of the states or any manner according to the pleasure of the state legislature. So I think that we need to petition Tallahassee to no longer have a direct election of senators. We spent 186, we didn't spend, but the Wall Street bankers spent $180 million to put in the senator of their choice. And that's exactly who they represent. The financial elite choose the senators, and the senators pay them back by voting for legislation that benefits the rich in favor of the rest of us.
Yes, sir, Mr. Broders.
I got gypped, Mr. Broder. I didn't get that much money from my campaign.
Thank you, Mr. Broders. Welcome, sir. Name and address for the record.
Moses Clipper, 14581, 102nd Path, Live Oak. I assume all the consent items are staying on the consent agenda?
We hadn't gotten there yet.
Well, so I'm to waste my time if you can pull things for general discussion?
Items, I don't have any that are being pulled for general discussion. I have 2 items that are getting pulled for clarification, so.
Oh, so clarification, the public can't speak on.
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
General business, you
Well,
could.
My first item is y'all have way too much stuff, which Mr. Hancock has made comment about that over and over, and I have, and others have. A lot of stuff on consent items should be where the public could speak on it and discuss, hear what y'all got to say and respond to it. It appears to many people that y'all don't want to hear what the public's got to say. But 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Say that again.
3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. The fire hydrants, the $20,000. One thing I want to know,
That one's going to be talked about. 3 is.
but the public's going to get to comment after or during.
Okay, but go ahead. I was going to try to help you and save you some of your time, but go ahead.
Well, if it's discussed and I don't say what I got to say, I don't know if y'all going to say it or not.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, it's not like y'all really want to know. But the ABK hydrants, I see that's a standard. Is it a requirement, though? You know what I mean? I also want to know who's accountable for the mess up. Who let this $20,000 mistake slide through? I suspect I know who. It's one that's cost us millions of dollars in grants and others. But then there's supervisory personnel above that. But again, why go spend that $20,000 if we don't have to? If it's a preferred hydrant, I say the mistake's already been made. Make note on that person's personnel file and keep a tighter rein on it. And let's see those mistakes not happen anymore. If there's not some sort of state code or something, I think we ought to use those 4 hydrants that's already been installed. And, okay, so they're not perfect or whatever. Somebody argued that they may have different thread bodies. There's couplings you can make, or there's machine shops that make a coupling that make it up so that those hydrants will work. The number 5, the $54,000 that y'all plan on paying that engineer to design that Douglas Center HVAC. I know for a fact, I've confirmed it through multiple big companies that's capable of doing that. One contractor that has, that's working on a 250,000 square foot facility right now, and they've done rec centers, and he's a mechanical engineer, works through HVAC company. One particular guy guaranteed me it'd be half of what y'all would have it contracted out.
What's his name?
I'll give it to you. His first name is Colton.
And what company does he work for?
I'll get that to you. I don't have it right here. Yes, I do. I made a note. Colton Richardson. His phone number, well, I won't put it on public record. I don't know if it's his personal or not.
Just tell me who he works for, and then you can give me his number privately.
I didn't catch the business name. His engineer is Mark Hearn, H-U-R-N. And I'll get y'all the phone number right after. Six on the $8,000 is $666 a month. We can pay that lawyer to do what we already got a lawyer. I'm not gonna go too much on that, but number 7, the $6,500 a month, or $80,000 a year for a lobby outfit to lobby. We've got representatives and senators, Ashley Moody, Rick Scott, and Kate Kamek, and all their staff. I mean, we've got dozens of people that should be working in our favor. I don't see us paying that $80 grand a year, plus like with the other outfits that we wind up paying, instead of $100,000 a year, you tack on 60 here and 80 there, and I don't think we need that lobbyists there. We've already got people working for us, and if not, we need to have our people motivating them and getting the information from them. And and number 9, with that $600,000 on that daggum radio, I mean, we just spent over $1 million on the sheriff's radio. Why are those all separate? Why can't they? And now I'm ignorant on this. If they can't be done, okay, but why are we spending $600,000? And if they can't be all the time during an emergency, it seems like it could be switched out. That $600,000 could go to roads or improvements in this county. And I don't want our first responders to be short on anything they need, but just spending money because it's there. If there's ways to assist her up with that. And then on number 10, I would flatly deny that. There's multiple, the current administration in the Sheriff's Department is in violation of FS 119, which is a criminal act. Multiple acts of that. I've reported that to y'all, others have. Y'all's duty is to verify these complaints. Before I'd give that department another red cent, I'd make sure that FS 119 that department was in full compliance of that, which they are not. And they're in violation, not in compliance. And before another penny to be spent in that department, I'd make sure that public access is available to their finances, and they're not.
Well, excuse me, hold on.
Hold on, Mr. Clever.
What's FS 119?
It's a FOIA requirements, Freedom of Information Act. Check me out.
Have you spoke to the sheriff about this?
Sure have.
And?
Not responded to. Me and several others. It's documented.
Okay. Any other members from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment. The next item on the agenda is proclamations and presentations. Are there any proclamations or presentations tonight? None that I'm aware of. Okay. The next item on the agenda is consent agenda. I have items number 3, 10, and 11 being pulled for clarification. which leaves items 2, 4, 5. How about this? All of them but 3, 10, and 11. Have any questions, comments, or is there any other, did I miss anything that needs to be pulled besides 3, 10, or 11?
10, and 11.
If I didn't, do I have a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner White to approve consent agenda items all but 3, 10, and 11. And was that a second by you, Commissioner? A second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, approval of change order number 1 with Music Construction Incorporated for the replacement of fire hydrants and the increase of the construction timeline by 28 days associated with the CIP water main extension. Budget impact $20,072.31 to be paid from existing grant funding. Commissioner White.
Thank you. Mr. Scott, who was the engineer on this project?
North Florida Professional Services.
And I'm gonna say I agree with Moses on this one. How did this get missed? Because we've had issues with this whole sewer water thing before on another contract. And if we're needing certain fire hydrants, why isn't that being spec'd in on the bid?
So the bid specs stated they should followed the county specs. The engineer shared that, and I don't know if they're here or not, I hadn't noticed them, but
I don't see
Anyway.
no Florida.
from what I was told is they cannot spec specific items in a bid. So what we've done since then is prepared our specs so we can add them to that document. The plan is the fire hydrants that are removed is try to find another agency that can take those and swap them out, or to sell them to another fire department or another utility. The reason that the fire service, I don't want to speak for them, but is that they have uniformity so that when they pull up to a fire hydrant, wherever it is, they know it's theirs, it belongs. For example, you'd have the village having one color and one style. You might have the Boys Ranch having another color and style. We know when we pull up whose it is for couplings and such. So that, it cuts down they don't want to hop out and say, oh, you got to have the other coupling or whatever in theory. But again, I don't want to speak for the fire department. I don't want to speak out of turn and say something that's inappropriate. If Dan can certainly correct me if I need to. But after they were installed, Tim went out and was looking and said, oh, these aren't the right ones that we use now. The ones that we used at the 136, 137 project were the ones we were shifting to. So I was a little frustrated also whenever I realized that the uncertainty of the specs. So
Commissioner White, I would, I guess, agree with you and Mr. Klepper. Mr. Klepper, I agree with you. I don't say that a lot, or at least not publicly. How about that? But no, my question would be along the lines the same as his. Like, and I don't want to put all the blame on the engineer, but I certainly do believe that there's some to be placed on them. Like, if we're picking fire hydrants, and why wouldn't the engineer say, all right, what fire hydrants are y'all using? Which fire hydrants have been using? These are the fire hydrants. I mean, this is a water main extension that where fire hydrants are going to be installed. Tell me which ones you all want, or we're just going to bid the standard custom ones. Like, was that conversation not had, or is that not protocol to have that conversation, or for the engineer not to ask us that?
quite frankly, I probably should have asked the questions ahead of time, but I made an assumption, which I take responsibility for, is that I assumed that they've done other projects with the same fire hydrants. But I was told by staff that they could not specify a particular brand of anything.
So who was the engineer and contractor for the County Road 137
It
mains,
was North Florida also.
and same contractor.
Right,
But yeah, we're going to install different fire hydrants.
right.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Perkins.
Mr. Scott, is there any type of adapters or sleeve we can do to adapt those to make what the fire department need?
I'll let Chief speak on that. I'll mess it up.
All right, so when it comes to connections, there is no difference in connections. What I was told was that the water utility company or whoever that we're using, some joint company, it's about repair. They stock one standard repair kit. We don't have to go out and buy, not us, but the water company won't have to have all these different appliances, adapters to fix the hydrants, is why they wanted to stay with this standard hydrant. So I didn't look, what, $20,000 to switch them out? Buying a whole second set of tools and repair kits to keep on the shelf in case one of these special hydrants gets broke, that might be $15,000.
Yeah, I think the
have no
board,
idea.
I think the
So
board understands the logic
that
behind
was
it, but I
why
think the board's disappointed, or at least I can't speak for the
Yeah.
board, I can speak for
But
myself.
When it comes to hooking up to them, they're no different. So-
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah,
I got both people. I'll go with Perkins first. I'll come back to you, Mr. Hill.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Chief Miller, would there any way of taking those ones we have now and swapping them? Can we do a swap?
Well, I think
versus-
that's what Mr. Scott was saying, is once we got
Yeah.
these out, to try to either sell them or find another municipality that uses the same brand and would take them off our hands or something like
And
that.
those companies that manufacture them, that they won't take them for,
There might be, you might be able to get a fire hydrant company or another water company that say, yeah, we'll buy them from you or something to try to recuperate some of that money.
But these have been installed. The ones that are on the shelf still, we stopped the process. If they're on the shelf still, we'll send those back to the manufacturer. The ones that have been installed, it takes the contractor to go and uninstall and reinstall the other variety.
So,
Commissioner, yeah, Commissioner
I
Hill.
was just gonna say, I mean, I hear and I agree. I mean, I'm glad y'all pulled it for discussion, because I was sitting there scratching my head, you know, a fire hydrant, we're talking about fire hydrants. And I'm not being ugly, I'm not laying blame, but I'll say this, there are folks that work for that engineering company that sit on that board, that facility board. Certainly, there should have been communication as to what fire hydrants we're gonna put down and what we're gonna use. I mean, I just not happy about it myself. That's, I agree with everybody here tonight. I do.
I mean,
Mr. White.
I get the concept. I mean, because I sit on the water utility, and that's the goal, is to have everything like, so we don't have to each one stock different stuff. But my frustration with it is why our engineer didn't know this, and why didn't we relay it to him?
Well, again, in the specs, it stated Suwannee County specifications, but those were not laid out what they were.
Understood.
I think it's just a misfortune that the Suwannee County taxpayers get to hit in the face with the bill for the miscommunication. And I do believe that same engineer is doing a lot of work for the utility board as well. So it's just kind of like, hey,
Yep.
let's put our head on straight, guys. Let's think about this thing. I mean, because when you screw up, it ain't your money, it's taxpayers' money that you're screwing up with. So excuse
luckily we
my
can-
language, but that just
Luckily, we can pay for this through the grant, and hopefully we can get reimbursed at least part of that money, you know, from selling or swapping other fire hydrants. So,
You know, I'll just add one thing. I'm good. I understand we got to move forward. We got to do what we got to do. But I'm good with that. But I'm also good with reporting back to us if we're able to unload these or sell them to someone
Sure.
else. And if there's any willingness from our engineer to step in on any lost monies as well.
I can answer that for you.
Yeah. Well, but I want to find out.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. Commissioner White, you got any
No,
other-
I'm good. I'm good.
any other questions, comments in regards to number 3? Or do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner White to approve consent agenda item number 3.
second.
I have a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We have item number 10. Sheriff, you're here. Item number 10 is authorization to utilize monies from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund for the purchase of weapon-mounted lights in the amount of $9,563.20 for the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, I pulled this myself. I've had some members of the community ask me what this was, why we needed these, and I didn't want to, I did explain it to them because Chief Williams explained it to me. But I wanted you to be able to publicly say, hey, tell everybody else, hey, the lights are for what you realized during the shootout and the chase in the early morning hours of darkness. Some of your deputies only had one light, grabbed the wrong weapon. The light was on the different weapon, chasing a guy, shooting at him through the dark without a light. I mean, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I'm kind of summing it up.
No, you're exactly right. Some just have the one light, so they go either whether put on a pistol or the rifle. Everybody has a pistol and a rifle in the car, and then plus the ones that we got. I'm not sure they're 5, 8, 10 years old and all, and these ones are buying the LED a lot brighter. So obviously at night the more light you have, the better you can see and so forth. And we just had a good example not too long ago when my deputies got shot, and it was at night when this occurred. So it's very vital to us and all. And we want a light on the pistol and their rifle where they don't have to decide, well, do I want my pistol or do I want a rifle? I mean, they shouldn't have that. They don't need that choice.
Whichever gun they grab, whatever hour of the day, they'd have a light.
The biggest thing is a safety reason for my officers.
I understand. I'm not going to beat you up about this. I will make a comment, though. In my bid packet, and I searched these lights online. I did find them online a couple places, maybe a little bit cheaper than this. But in my packet, I only got one purchase order. So in the future, will you ask your folks there to send us, if y'all bid this out, which I was told y'all did, send all 3 bid quotes in here so we can see. I understand that me buying one flashlight from Academy Sports might be $2 cheaper than yours, but yours may carry a warranty, or you may have a relationship and they just switch them out or send you a brand new one. I get that, so I'm not going to beat you up over a couple bucks, but going forward, will you ask your team to, if they bid this out, which I was told they did, send all the bids in, not just the one y'all are buying it from.
No problem.
We have that information.
We'll be glad to, yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Any other questions in regards to item number 10? Or do I have a motion to approve? Have a motion by Commissioner Hale. A second by, was that Mobley? Second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 11 is award bid 2025. Oh, before we leave item number 10, for the public's awareness, the Law Enforcement Trust Fund, those monies are from fine and forfeiture. They can only be used by such. They cannot be used to fix roads or buy tractors or whatever. Just putting that disclosure out there as well. So back to item number 11, award bid 2025-08 and authorize chairman to execute contract with Silver Star Landscape LLC for roadside mowing and litter pickup, pending county attorney review. It's a budgeted item. So I pulled this one as well, just for, I guess, probably public knowledge. I talked to Mr. Scott about this before the meeting. So what the county's going to do here is basically contract out our litter and mowing. We do have crews and equipment on staff now that do a great job, but it's an alarming amount of highway right-of-way to maintain. And as we all know, during summer months, especially post-hurricane, we all get the complaints of, when are they going to mow my road? Why aren't we picking up the litter? It just comes down to money. And these folks assure us they can do it faster and more efficiently than us, so we're going to give them a shot. Any of y'all want to add or question? And then on some of our equipment, the leases are due to start expiring soon, so we're going to let some of that equipment go back. It's not like we own it and we're selling it anyway. So I believe that they can, the private sector, in most cases, can do things cheaper than the government. And we're not getting rid of any employees. We got plenty of other work that they can do, right, Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to add anything?
Mr. Chairman, this is just paved roads only, right?
Right. So the plan is to keep some of our equipment still there so we can hit other spots that we would need to hit anyway. There's other areas like behind the Coliseum and other places we mow, and we'll be doing that ourselves also. The The contractor is anxious to get started. We've got a meeting next week, kickoff meeting next week, I believe, Brenda, right? And then they want to get started the 1st of April. So I know y'all been waiting for 3 years to get the litter pickup piece done, but the mowing on top of it, I think is the right thing to do, and I appreciate you giving us latitude to pause on the litter until we get the mowing combined. I think we'll be better off.
I would agree with that.
Much agreed.
Any other questions?
No, I just wanted to echo, yeah, I think it's good because, getting all the calls about trash on the road and picking up the trash, this hopefully would alleviate that problem. Why people can't go all around it when people need them to. They're already on the schedule. They have to pull off their schedule to go over to do other work, special work. So this, hopefully, will solve that problem.
I agree 100%, Commissioner Perkins. Anybody else? Or do I have a motion to approve item number 11?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner White. Who was my second? Commissioner Perkins on the second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0 on that one. Next item on the agenda is constitutional officers. Are there any constitutional officers present wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will move to staff. Any staff items tonight? Oh, man, look at them. They're both jumping up. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're coming because I'm going to ask you about 169th until you give me a good answer.
And I got 184 still.
Anyway, you might want to sit back down.
Somebody else go first. Actually, what I wanted to talk about
All right.
is we need approval for you to sign another FEMA grant agreement for the tornadoes. You've already signed the one for Debbie. We don't have Helene yet, but Eric has the documentation for you to sign.
That's for the reimbursement?
Yes, for us to be able to have reimbursement.
And I'd recommend a motion and a second on that also, just for,
Yeah,
We can do a full vote.
I'll offer a motion, Mr. Chairman.
So I have a motion to approve this agreement, this FEMA reimbursement by Commissioner Hale. Second by Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. And for the public's knowledge, we do these anytime there's a natural disaster through FEMA. There's protocol, you got to sign the agreement to get the money.
Correct. 169.
Is it our turn? Is it our turn?
Yes. 169 has a pre-construction meeting next week.
And then at
And then
that
they will start
pre-construction, will you ask them to start the next day?
I've already talked to them about trying to do that.
Or they can go ahead and get their equipment there today, and then they can wait until next week to have the meeting and then start work the next day.
I'm
I'll
with the
relay that
chairman on this
information.
one. I'm with the chairman.
I am getting
Our line-
hammered on 169th.
Yes, we both are.
So the faster we can get 169th repaired, the better.
Yeah.
It's really causing a lot of inconveniences on schools. Suwannee Valley Electric. Suwannee Valley Electric calls me weekly when the 169th is going to be fixed. So I'm not blaming you.
No, I
Sure, but that plumber went on the fix, we would have had it done by now.
All right, Mr. Perkins, you can be quiet over there.
What did he say?
We're not even acknowledging what he said. Commissioner White, you had,
184th Street.
I don't have any news on 184th at this time, I'm sorry.
I'm going to throw something.
76th Street?
76th Street, they are continuing to work, preparing it for the widening. And so far, they're on task with their schedule.
No issues or nothing other than what I know.
Correct.
Thank you.
Continuing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, Commissioner Perkins, sorry.
Ms. Brenda,
Yes, sir.
this dike is unlevel.
We got more paved roads in our districts than do that are county roads. Just tilts this way a little bit.
Ms. Brenda,
Yes, sir.
I need 80th Terrace over there down. It's not a bad road. Scott and I have already talked about it, and you get 80th Terrace. Don't listen to what them guys say down there. I need that road fixed.
That's the first time I've heard about 80th Terrace. You ignore him?
Scott.
I don't recall that one either.
That was Scott.
This is something out in the blue right here.
Okay.
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
take note.
We're getting ambushed.
Get 80th there as
Thank you,
quick
Mr.
as you can too.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm just
Appreciate
hard
it.
timing Perkins over here.
184th, 184th, 184th.
Staff, is it Fury or Furry? Like furry like an animal? Furry, like Chewbacca?
Why change now?
Depends on if I'm mad at him or not.
It is furry, like a furry
You walk
bear,
up here
yeah.
like in a fury.
I always say Fury.
I say
Fury,
Fury
it sounds
too.
better, it's cooler, I don't know.
I
Some
mean,
people say
I
furry.
say furry, I think Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, dang it.
That was pretty good.
Start calling you
Chairman.
Chewy.
You gotta Shut down real quick.
Go ahead, Chewy.
What happened here?
Go ahead, Chewy.
Yes, thank you, sir, Mr. Chairman. Public record. Yes. Just a couple quick updates. Baseball's starting. Again, same thing as you hear, 400 or 500 kids out there at the ball field. We're outgrowing that space. We are currently looking at some master planning, conceptual designs of the 70 acres behind us, just for when you come into a large sum of money and you want to give it to the recreation department, we'll have some plans and some vision for that property as well, because we're outgrowing fast. But a lot of kids, a lot of boys and girls playing baseball and softball out there. Still waiting to hear back from Water Management on the springs and conveying that to us. They're working through a plan, and will bring us some sort of a draft for that for you guys to look at. So I'll follow up on that and bring that to you. Just a couple things on, you've heard about the projects we have. We got all this money. We have like 4 the multi-purpose facilities. We have the African American Cultural Center now. The Douglas HVAC that Mr. Klepper was talking about. So a lot of building projects, not a lot of time to do them. The state has some hard deadlines of October of 26. So we're just trying to, come up with different ideas, different models for solicitation for that, some design build type things that we typically don't do. I think the normal model of hire an architect, draw plans, go out to bid, take a year, and then find out you're over budget. And then, now you're on a deadline with 6 months left to do a building. So we're just trying to see what other models are out there with a design build where everything's in one package. And we bring the engineering, the architect, the contractor, everything. And we work with our budget number up front. We do some value engineering with the whole party. And we kind of, start from there and have a maximum limit of what that number would be, and then plan and design that building. So something to think about. We haven't really done it, but we got several folks, staff and others that are working on it and trying to see. We don't want to come across of not being competitive or transparent or taking away opportunity to bid on things like that. But how can we efficiently get these projects in the ground before we lose that funding? So just something to think about.
Well, that's a marvelous idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will you be joining
agree.
us?
I will.
No fishing lures for you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chewy. Any other staff items? Commissioner items. Any commissioners have anything?
I have one.
Okay. 184th?
No, I need the sheriff, if I could, for a minute.
Uh-oh.
I know we've talked about this before, Sheriff, but when the latest rains we've had, we got a lot of kids. I assume it's kids. It may be adults. I don't know. But they're spinning up all the right-of-ways. I'm talking about mud bogging in the right-of-ways, getting on people's. I got Jerry Goff down there. He's raising sand. They got in this sod field. But they're all going back to the same places to do this, and I just want to ask if the sheriff's department could put up some cameras or do something, and let's see if we can't catch some of these guys and stop some of this.
Yes, most definitely we can. I'll get with you afterwards and just tell me the area you talk about.
Oh, I got pin drops. I'll just send them to you.
Yeah, just do that then, and we'll definitely take care of that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it just keeps, and they keep going back to the same place, and they're messing it up pretty good too. And even the road graders can't do anything because they fall off in the hole and they get stuck. Yeah. So it's a big issue.
And again, we get complaints, pretty regular about the four-wheelers, in different parts of the county and so forth. And the guys, they do get out and do the problem with that is obviously you got to either, catch them in the act, or just like you're saying, if we know where they live, then we can go to them and say, hey, we got a complaint that, this is what you're doing and so forth, and normally that would stop to and all, but most of it we can take care of for you, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, while the sheriff's over there, I don't know your situation, but I'll say I have some of the same complaints, but mine are not ATVs done. They're people in trucks. Just get down, actual four-wheel drive trucks, get down in county ditches.
Well,
right away.
that would be, obviously, we got some techniques that we can, especially if the truck's got a tag number, then, we have ways of capturing that, which would be easier than the four-wheeler, because the four-wheeler not gonna have a tag on it, but a vehicle will have a tag, so that would be easy to solve there.
I'll
But
meet with you as well.
yes, sir, that'd be fine. Yes, sir.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Any other commissioners have anything? No. Next item on the agenda is County Attorney. Mr. Morrison?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two items. First, a couple of weeks ago, myself, Mr. Scott, and Mr. Chewy met with the school board regarding issues regarding the pool. So essentially, the pool is, the county pool is held through an amalgamation of different county entities, but essentially it's run by the rec department, and it's currently owned by the school district. The school district is wanting to basically deed that over to us, so that way, since the rec department is functionally a county department, to get that under us, under our umbrella. Jason, we've all spoken about it, but in order to do that, we would need approval from the board to accept it. So they're wanting to turn it over to us. We sat down and kind of went over the pros and cons, didn't see any real reason not to do it, and it made things easier on the school district's end. So, but I need board permission to accept that deed.
So all maintenance and facilities expenses would now no longer be split, or they would still be split? Like who's?
So the way this is where it gets weird. So the agreement which governs the use of the pool goes back to the 80s. But in that agreement, it only spoke, the operational part of that agreement only spoke to, for the first 3 years of how the pool was going to be operated. So what has happened is the rec department's been handling all of it. So that wouldn't change if we were to take title, if that makes sense at all. So the rec department would continue to handle it, and we would be redoing the interlocal agreement between the city, the county, and the school board for how to manage the pool, just to bring it up to how things are actually done, because basically we're out there without an interlocal right now, which is fine because everybody gets along well. But before we can get going, we need to know where it's going to be titled. And the school board's pretty anxious because they don't control it full time, whereas the rec board controls it full time and allows people to use it. They want it to be titled in basically functionally the rec board, which would be the county, and that's their reason for it, because the school district doesn't control the pool.
But with the county taking possession and it being under Parks and Rec, the maintenance expense are shared with the city.
Which is,
city.
Right, there's no anticipation that would change.
Right.
It would simply be for lack of a better phrase, the paper three-card Monte of which government entity holds it. But since the school district doesn't possess it full-time, they'd rather it be entitled to the entity that does. And the rec board, although it's more a county entity than it is anything else. And so that's why it made sense for me.
Yeah, I understand.
Mr. Chairman, the plan would be to still have the count of the rec department send a bill to the school for a percentage of their operation, of the operation cost. So that really the schematics would not change, just title of the property would change.
So basically, the operating agreement is not going to change, just the fact that the deed to the property ownership title is the only thing changing.
Yes, sir.
Who's writing, who's paying for the insurance on it now?
We are, county is.
Already?
Okay. That's my question.
Because we've been doing that through the rec board leasing it full-time.
I'm good with that.
So, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So how does it work with the school board, or the schools to use that for their swim team?
Right. It would be the same.
Same thing? Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing's going to change functionally. It's just where are we going to put the title to it? So,
I'm good with that.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I would need a motion and a second to authorize me to accept that deed on behalf of the county.
I have a motion by Commissioner Perkins and a second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. 5-0, Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second thing I need to bring up, Mr. Chairman, is Matco Industries out there on our rail spur. The board may recall in January of last year, I was before the board and we put forth a memorandum of understanding between the county and Matco regarding Matco's use of our rail spur out there at the Catalyst site. As members of the board are aware, that memorandum of understanding called for Matco to no longer be parked on our rail spur and instead have track off of our rail spur so that way they can do their loading and unloading and not maintain a long time presence on the county rail spur. That was the understanding. That's what was entered into in January, and the agreement plans to do it actually were well before January of last year. Excuse me. I've also been speaking with the railroad and trying to figure out ways to move this forward. Ultimately, Mr. Chairman, you and I have had a conversation. I've also had a conversation with Commissioner White back when he was chairman and also voicing frustration with this current situation. I contacted Matt Ferber, who's the CEO of Matco, and I told him, based upon the I'm going to put words in your mouth, Mr. Chairman, but essentially the level of frustration from the county due to the extreme amount of rope that has been given to Matco to give them time to get off the rail spur and functionally no action having been taken, the county wanted to move forward with extreme action to make this happen now or just trespass them and get it off. So I reached out to Mr. Ferber and explained that to him, and that in consultation with what you and I had spoken about, Mr. Chairman, that essentially due to the inaction of Matco in getting off the rail spur, as asked for by the memorandum of understanding, which would have been, again, effective July of last year, that what the board, I anticipated the board doing is basically telling Matco that they have 120 days to have their whatever it is that they need to get installed, so that way they are off our rail spur and can use our rail spur for ingress and egress only and no longer remaining parked on it. And should they not have that in place within 120 days, then I would expect the board to direct me to trespass Matco from our spur and inform the railroad that they are not to deliver trains there while they are trespassed. I relayed that to Mr. Ferber, and here's what I got back from Mr. Ferber in an email. I'll just read it to the board. Good morning, Adam. Thank you for reaching out. First off, I apologize for the delays. There has been some progress, but it's certainly been slow, and a bit of back and forth with the railroad on the design hasn't helped. Essentially, they were trying to make it a bit larger than what it needed to be. I don't think that is necessary in phase one. All we need is a single track for this operation. The county track is only used for the car switching process. We have a design and quote, and we'll be moving ahead at this point. To be completely honest, some of the delay has been caused by our focus on opening a limestone quarry in Marion County. This is done now, and the equipment will be moved up to Live Oak to start the rail project. I also hope to use some of the rail bed material from our own quarry to help us construct this track. I can promise that dirt start moving within a month, and the railroad contractor is ready to lay rail as soon as the rail bed is prepared. I'd ask for just a little more time. We'd be happy to have a monthly progress report, and if that would help. I'm happy to talk to the chairman if he'd like to discuss the timeline. Let me know. On Monday of this week, so I got this was in writing last week. On Monday of this week, Mr. Ferber called me at my office, and I also discussed it with him. And I'm going to be, to paraphrase, I said, it's time to put up or shut up, because just promising to do it isn't going to get it done anymore. And so he said, we're getting it done, and it's all this is going to happen. So I said, my only kind of change that I would recommend to the board, if you want to make, if everything you're telling me, Mr. Ferber, is correct, would be we still send the 120-day letter, but then we plan on at the county commission meeting at the 90-day window, for lack of a better phrase, having a look in, and if that thing's being built at the time and they need, 45 days to finish instead of 30, then we'll think about it. But that was the extent of kind of what I was willing to recommend to the board, is if he's willing to do it, I guess, Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to you, but based upon our conversations and my previous conversations with former Chairman White, would essentially be to authorize me to send a letter to Matco saying they have 120 days to get off the spur, to use it only for ingress and egress. And if they don't, then they're going to be trespassed. And then at the 90-day mark, we'll have a look in. And if Mr. Ferber wants to come before the board at that time and ask for additional time if it's necessary, he certainly could do that. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to you.
Well, here's where I'm at with Mr. Ferber. Mr. Ferber, and some of the public probably don't know what goes on out at the catalyst site, but basically there's a main rail that everybody sees the trains going by. It's the same rail here in town. There's a spur that goes into our catalyst site. Mr. Ferber, since he's been open for how many years now?
Almost 10 years.
For 10 years has been using our rail spur to run his operation because currently there's no other businesses using the spur or needing to use their spur. So basically cars come in and out, in and out, in and out. There's no passing. Everybody knows how a train works. For 10 years, Mr. Ferber has operated rent-free on our rail spur. Now we have other businesses that have mentioned wanting to have rail service out there, one of them being the sawmill. Mr. Ferber has had no ambition in 10 years. I sat in a meeting with him, 18 months ago as a chairman, and he assured me all the material was there, it was on site, all they had to do was build it, and he would get that done as soon as possible, should have it done in 180 days. Here we are a year later, and still not even a piece of equipment on the ground. Mr. Ferber has had an accident out there in which under our previous administration cost the county 6 figures in expenses to clean up because he claimed no liability. It wasn't me, it was your spur, it happened. Taxpayers picked up the bill. Now Mr. Ferber is telling us that, hey, I've heard enough from Mr. Ferber. Mr. Ferber, you can send a letter for 100, this is where I'm at. The board can say what they won't say. But for 10 years, he's used our spur for rent-free. I've heard him say, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I've heard that enough. So he can, this is where I'm at with it. You can send a 120-day letter. If he needs more time than that, I don't know if it's legally sufficient. You can fine him $5,000 a day, every day, or whatever number you want to after the 120 days. But he's had 10 years to build his spur that goes in his property, and he's basically played the county. He's played me. He's played the board. Why build it if I can use air for free? Game's over. Build your spur. Get off of ours. So if anybody else comes out there and wants to use our spur, which is the only spur going into those properties, it'll be there, ready and willing and able to serve other people, not just him. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I've heard enough of, I'm going to build it, I'm going to build it. I got all the materials, I'm going to build it. Been hearing that for at least 2 years. He's been there for 10.
Yes, sir.
So anybody else want to comment on that or got a different opinion, then we'll go a different route. But that's where I'm at with Mr. Ferber.
Well, I agree. I'm equally frustrated with him, and I like the idea of charging him.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's legal, but if he needs 120 days, if that's the number we're going with, hey, it's going to take me, an extra 100. Well, by George, you can pay for it. That'll go for the back rent that you've used our spur for rent-free for the past 10 years. And we ain't charge you because we're trying to be a good host. We wanted you to come to our county and be a business and provide jobs and work here, in which you've done. But you really, all he's using that for, there's no infrastructure out there. There's no building. Everything he's doing is transloading. There's semi-trucks coming and going, and he's using our road. He hasn't added anything to the tax rolls as far as real property. Like I said, there's no office, there's no building, there's no nothing. And he's used our spur for 10 years to run his business and hadn't built it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead. You go ahead, sir.
Well, I kind of echo the same as what Vice Chair and the Chairman are saying, because they've been using that long and have not invested anything into the county. And we've been giving all the time and giving, and they have actually cost us money. And I think we have given them a lot. They're more like a parasite, for lack of a word, but I think that we should put some weight on it and have them to either ante up and get that spur put in and not continue to use the county property and perhaps may cause another problem. and we got more money. So I think as soon as possible, so we can, to alleviate this problem, I think that we should, and not have the county being in jeopardy for what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree with that, Commissioner Perkins, and what I would add to the county attorney, you brought up a very good point, is any further liability. I would tell Mr. Ferber that he, in order to get his 120 days, he's going to immediately sign a hold harmless agreement tomorrow, holding the county, if that's legal, not liable for any more accidents, and claim responsibility for anything that happens out there in which he's involved. Can we do that?
I'll work on it. I understand the gist of what you're trying to get to, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hale.
Yeah, I just had a question for the attorney. You said you'd spoke to the railroad as well. Is there anything been submitted to them on his behalf? I heard you say he thought they were oversized it or something?
The railroad's been working with Mr., because obviously the railroad has an economic interest in,
Correct.
Hey, let's get more trains out there,
Sure,
right? So
sure.
they've been working with him, and so.
So there's no holdback on their part, is what I'm saying. He could it get done in 120 days? Is that a
Well,
you threw that number
so
out, is that a fair
on
number?
Friday afternoon, I had a meeting with the railroad to ask
Correct.
that question.
Yes.
So, because with the 120, like, I don't want to tell you 90.
Right.
And and what the railroad told me is if he got working on it today, it would take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Like, with absolute full bore,
Sure.
this is what it's going to take.
So we're being more than fair and gracious in the timeline. That's all I want to make sure, and make it feasible to get it done. But I agree, he does need to get his own rail spur in there. I would love to see the sawmill get their spur going as well. And again, we've got other folks that are going to need rail out there real soon as well. So yeah, we need to get it moving.
Well, you're exactly right. So my thing is like, look, you've had 10 years to do it, you ain't done it. You keep telling us you're going to do it, you still ain't done it. And the day that the sawmill says, hey, we're ready to ship by rail, and that sawmill employs way more people than he does. They pay way more ad valorem taxes to Suwannee County. They're a better, I'll say it, they're a better community partner than Mr. Ferber's Matco business is.
Yeah.
I want to be ready to help them with that rail spur and not him be standing in the way 2 years from now or a year from now when they say they're ready to ship by rail. Well, wait a minute, he still ain't built his spur. He's going to have to get off first.
And I'm not
Like,
sure that hadn't been some of their holdup, is making sure that they could get a spur off there.
correct. So,
Well, if I'm not wrong, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
It was my understanding that the railroad had some grant money they was even going to give him to help him get it done.
They were 6 figures.
And so I'm at a total loss here as to why it ain't getting done.
Why would you if you didn't have to?
No, we get it, but
Well, there's no cost.
it's going to get done.
There's no cost to him, so he's using a free
He's
rail
doing it for
spur.
free, so like,
And
hey.
so why even rush to it?
Why buy the car when you get to drive mamas for free?
Right. So why, it's a question, could we or why have we been charging for using the rail spur?
That's Mr. Morrison.
The honest answer is because at first it was as an incentive to get him to come out here,
Yeah.
because he was the only business out there.
was, yeah. He was for a
So,
long time.
I mean, and part of that memorandum of understanding that we entered into last year was also, we're going to get into an operating agreement, which is going to charge.
Okay.
But it was, let's get our ducks in a row so we have our infrastructure in place, and let's get moving on it. So, what I would need ultimately, Mr. Chairman, what I would ask the board to do, because I can't do tomorrow, and ultimately the board would have to.
Do it at night.
The board would have to enter into an agreement for the hold harmless agreement. What I would ask the board to do is 2 things. First, I would need a motion and a second to authorize me to send the 120-day trespass warning to Mr. Ferber on behalf of the county. And then the second thing I would say is I would just need consensus for me to enter into negotiations for a hold harmless and use agreement.
Y'all heard him.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Commissioner Perkins.
offer that motion to allow the attorney to get an agreement, send out a
Hold harmless.
hold harmless agreement, and also to send out what that person was?
The 120-day trespass.
120-day trespassing.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Perkins to authorize the attorney to send out the hold harmless agreement and also the 120-day no trespass memorandum.
No trespass, it'll be a no trespass warning, because
No trespass
it's the
warning.
county's property, we can trespass something
Okay.
from.
Mr. Chairman, can we add, because I think, I did like what he said, for 90 days. just in case there's some holdup on the
Yeah,
railroad side.
Mr. Morrison, could you ask Mr. Ferber to come back or give us a look in 90 days?
What I was going to do, Mr. Chairman, is just, I think the plan would be to go ahead and calendar that now for 90 days out, and if Mr. Ferber wants to come before the board, he can.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, well then,
That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. So I have a motion by Commissioner Perkins.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Was there a fine included in that afterwards, or?
no. Because fines become punitive, which become a whole other thing. It's easier just to trespass.
All right.
So the lawyer says my fine idea is not a good idea, so there you have
It
it.
was not a fine idea.
There you go. That's why you're a lawyer and I'm not. Okay, Mr. Attorney, you got anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, any consultants? Next item is consultant items. Any consultants present wishing to speak? Seeing none, we'll move to general business. I don't have any general business. Any additional agenda items? None. Administrators' comments?
Just a couple updates. We had been in communication with a young lady that came last meeting, talked about the debris cleanup they're doing in Hamilton County, and we're working on trying to get an agreement so we can move forward with that.
I think she's
It's working
Ms. Jennifer.
I think she's here.
real well for Hamilton County, and she was out on a flight and couldn't get us information back. But I'd like to pursue that in the next meeting if at all possible. If she'd like to add anything, I'd be willing to.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Greg is correct. I was actually on a flight in Nova Scotia when he contacted me.
Nova Scotia.
Yes.
I'm working for the wrong people.
Kid plays ice hockey. So anyway, we didn't have a contract with Hamilton, but Greg requested one. And I did attempt to send it, but apparently it did not go through. I brought a copy tonight, which I will give to him. The sooner I can get you guys to buy in on this, the sooner we can get started. We were actually scheduled to start over here on Monday, the 24th. So if we table this until, when is your next meeting?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, that will be fine with us. We will go and continue our work in White Springs. We have finished Jennings, and we just finished 6 out of the 8 farmers that we needed to take care of in Hamilton. So I believe that there are a couple farm properties over here that we can visit over the next couple of weeks and get a scope of work from them, if that is okay with you guys.
Very good.
Thank you.
We are ready to go. We're hoping that our funding for the grant opens back up, because we would like to hire individuals from Suwannee. We've gotten a couple calls. Actually, they're coming in daily now since the word's gotten out. So we would like to hire residents in Suwannee who are looking for employment to help us out with cleaning up your county.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you. Any questions?
Good. No, anybody, any commissioner, any questions?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Ms.
you.
Jennifer.
Name and address for the
Oh,
name.
sorry. My first name is Jennifer. My last name is Gisoni, Gisonni.
I'm glad you spelled that.
Me too.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody, Mr. Scott?
Again, it worked out real well for Hamilton County, and I'm encouraged what she can do for Suwannee County folks also. Just wanted to bring you an update. As we talked last meeting about the Economic Development Office, what I've done in the situation or interim is went ahead and given Chris some more responsibilities and let her be the Economic Development Coordinator, give her that title. And she'll be working through, as we discussed last time, through session and possibly till the fiscal year of the state when the new budget starts, when the governor signs the new budget, so we know where we are. But then we can make a decision to move forward if any direction you'd like to go. But in the interim, we got Krista, taking care of both the marketing and also the coordinator position also. She'll be with you the next couple of days over in Tallahassee, so pick her brain, get her to work, all those things you need to do. But she's very capable of taking care of things for now. So as we move forward, we can do that later. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. As I mentioned last meeting, I've been looking at ways to make us more efficient. And there's so many projects we have that we're just not getting out the door as quick as we, in my opinion, we should. So we've been talking internally some, but also I've been, working through process in my head about how do we move projects and get things done. What I'd like to do tonight is ask permission to create a new position, an assistant administrator position, where they'd be working out of our office so we can get closer to the projects and get those moving. With that position would also oversee some of the other departments and try to lighten the load on some of the day-to-day stuff that quite frankly, I have, so we can get some more processes cleaned up and make sure we're more efficient at what we do. I'd like to have, we can do that in our own, within the budget we have, without having to add a budget line item for that. We can shuffle some things around with salaries, but as you all are aware, I just wanted to share with you that, remind you that I'll be out for some health procedures in the next few weeks. We need to have somebody in place to, if we can, to pick up the slack while I'm out. I anticipate we can do it internally with the staff we have if we haven't made that done yet. But I'd like to get permission tonight to go ahead and advertise in-house and then externally so we can expedite that process as best we can. Anyway, I'd just like to get permission to, one, create the position and also to start advertising the position so we can get moving forward with the organization and get some more efficiency. I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody might have.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Scott in regards to creating an assistant administrator position? Anyone? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Klepper. I'll let you. Go ahead, Commissioner Perkins first.
We used to say that funding would be coming from within the budget you already have.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And
I know you got something positive to say. Let's hear it.
Just
I know
what's
it.
on my mind.
I know it. That's positive. Let's go.
It can be construed as positive. Still Moses Klepper. We've got a position. This ain't personal. I like Mr. Scott, but I've complained and I've objected the whole time to we carrying over the Harris regime over and having that administrator in two departments, road department or the public works, and this is evidence that's too much for one individual. So I pled with y'all, and I gave up on it, but I pled with y'all to break that up. And if that had been broken up, I ain't trying to beat y'all up over it, but I figured it'd come. If y'all break it up, but that old man over there is my age, and he ain't gonna be doing that much longer, all right? So it's coming anyway, all right? And y'all wanna continue being in this situation. The Public Works should be, it seemed like, a separate administrator. And so, to me, that's the solution there, not getting, if a man needs help, he needs help. But if he didn't have that Public Works on him, maybe we wouldn't need help,
Thank you, Mr. Klepper. Any questions? That was very, I'll take that as positive from Mr. Klepper.
Mr. Chairman, I don't disagree. I think we're getting real close, Mr. Clever, to the size of our organization and how the community's growing and the demand on things at that office and other places. We're growing, guys. It's something down the road. I ain't trying to kick the can down the road, but it's something that needs to be, I think, discussed and because you got to put in a budget, you got to come up with it and work it out somehow. So,
Well, Columbia County's about 30,000 more people than us, and they have administrator, an assistant administrator, a public works director.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah. So I know we're not far off from having to do just what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's two things tonight. Two.
Maybe our heads aren't
or maybe we're just getting on our wavelength finally.
His head about exploded when you said that.
Do I have any other questions for Mr. Scott on creating that position? He needs board approval to create an assistant.
I'm okay with it.
So do I have a motion by Commissioner Hale?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hale offers a motion.
I'll say that.
Have Commissioner Mobley with a second. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Sorry.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Scott, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay.
Y'all have safe travels to Tallahassee. Wish I was able to go, but a lot of good things are going to happen this week for y'all in Tallahassee. Appreciate y'all's efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Closing comments. I was lost where I was at. Board members. Perkins, I started with you last time, or did I start with Hale? I always try to flip-flop. Who was
I'll
last?
start. I'll go ahead and start. Yeah,
I'll let him go first. How about that?
I told you they get too heavy down there.
Go ahead,
start.
Mr. Clean.
I'm just trying to get over 80th Street, where that came from, but anyhow, I'm good with that. But no, thank everyone for being here, and, I just enjoy working with this board, enjoyed, having discussions with Moses. I know he don't think we do, but we do, and we appreciate every one of you guys and gals coming here. We really do. But hats off to our team. Team Suwannee it's not just our road graders, it's our office staff and our janitorial folks and our ballpark keepers and grass mowers and everyone. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And just a quick update, Kenny Lamb, I know I've been praying, asked you guys to pray for him. A big turnaround. Starting to see recovery there. But keep him in your prayers, Daryl Harrell, and I'm sure there's many others. So we should pray for each other regardless. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
2, Moses, 2. Did I make the sheriff mad? Did he get up and leave?
I think it's We don't want to hear it.
No, those ping that you send, he going to work on them.
Oh, is he? I ain't even sent them yet, man.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for everybody coming. Appreciate the staff. Appreciate you, Mr. Scott. Just be praying for us as we go to Tallahassee and back. Thank you.
Commissioner Perkins.
Echo what the rest said. We do appreciate all our staff, all the hard work you're doing. We thank you, Ms. Carissa, for getting us all situated for tomorrow and making sure that that we're all looking the same. Thank you. Appreciate that. And also, too, just a thank to our guys like Mike, Gamble. I passed some things there, and I want to do on some roads, just some clearing and stuff. And he's Mr. Scott got with me, and they're working on that some thing in the city, take care with the city, with jail, the city to take care of some roads and things around to just make us some little tune-ups and stuff. So I appreciate that, and thank you everybody. And just Scott, we appreciate you when you wish the best for you and everything come out well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Commissioner Perkins, I think you said it well. I think our county and our city are working better together in the last year than I have probably ever witnessed. So I appreciate the folks over at the city and their employees working great with our employees, and our board working good with their board. So
that's right.
That relationship's headed in a better direction. Commissioner Mobley.
It's good to see everybody, and thank y'all for coming. We'll keep Mr. Gregg in our prayers, man.
Yes.
Yep. I'll echo everyone else's thoughts and concerns. Prayers for you, Mr. Scott, through what you're going through there. But the Lord led you here; He'll lead you through it.
Yeah.
Opening night of the fair, Friday, the 21st. I didn't want to miss that. 5:45 is ribbon cutting. So Beasley, bring plenty of money and go buy some cotton candy. Opening night of the fair starts Friday. Anything else? Is there anything else? I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
No, sir.
All I need is a motion to adjourn. A motion to adjourn by Commissioner Perkins.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. 5-0.